Well, hello, good morning, or good afternoon, or evening, as the case may be. Short talk in the trailer with the old guy. That's me. My name's Mike. Come on in, sit down. If you're tall, if you're short, if you're fast, if you're slow, if you're white, if you're black, or if you're any other color. As long as you're a human being, as long as you can sit down and talkity talk, have a good time. Uh, let's just shoot the breeze. What not? That's who I am. And I'm not pretending to be a soldier, a sailor, a marine. I'm not some researcher. I'm not a scientist. I'm just an old guy and a plumber at that. But I do like talking, and well, let's face it, I'm so lonely that the only time I have to talk is with you. So thank you, and viewers, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thanks for watching. You can sign up or subscribe or any of that stuff. I don't care about that. What matters to me is just speaking what's kind of down inside, and because let's face it, I got nobody else to talk to. So I did hear back from the assistant pastor the other day. After, if you look at them previous videos, it was a really weird episode on Sunday where I just meant to talk to the pastor. Here's all I wanted to ask him was, look, you got a adult Sunday school class, right? We're discussing various topics suggested by the congregation, right? And so, how do I suggest this one? Because it's kind of squirrely, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of like what short talks are all about, right? You get old guys, you get conspiracy theories, you get who knows what. I'm gonna rotate that up. Boo, boo, boo. I don't really know. I'm always fiddling with that darn thing. But anyhow, he did text back and he said, "Hey, look, I'm sorry I missed you, man. How about we get together and chat it up?" And I said, "Sure, okay." So I sent back, but the thing is it just seems so strange to me that when you're involved in a world whereby, if you're like me at all, and if you're not, I'm sorry, I hope you get better. Doesn't everyone basically assume that they're the normal one and everybody else is weird? Well, that runs common among many of us. Well, tonight's sponsor, which apparently is delayed in their payment, once again, Corona. I stopped and got me a beer on the way in. Stopped after work. There was a pretty good day, actually. We had a little bit of a kind of a rough-in episode with just digging it up mainly. And we did the digging and stuff, and looks pretty good. It's really going to be simple. It's just a sink and a clothes washer. And I think I can make that happen. But it's one of those things where we just moving dirt kind of thing by hand, because it was just so small you really couldn't get a backhoe in there, or if you could, you couldn't get it out. And so I said, well, we'll do it by hand. It's not that big of a deal. And I like moving dirt and straightening things out, and ended up with something you can look at that makes sense. And I was thinking today that when we're looking at, as an example, right now, this so-called administration of I call them the poodle. Uh, the poodle administration, because I mean, let's face it, the Chinese are frankly very fond of poodles, the little lap dogs that sit in your lap. Chinese like them, and I thought, well, how appropriate is that? Xi Jinping's poodle, and anyhow, this guy, I mean, him and that so-called administration is, if they ain't the worst, then they ought to be. I mean, this is so bad. This has gotten so bad with this guy that I even consider him to be a worse. I know, and this is shocking. A worse president than Obama. Worse than Jimmy Carter. Worse than LBJ. Worse than either Bush, older or younger. Worse than even Woodrow Wilson. Even Franklin Delano Roosevelt. That's getting down there real scroungy and whatnot. But the point is, I just wanted to say today, you know, lonely is as lonely does, and everybody wants to have a friend, I guess. This darn phone is going to drive me crazy. I got this little stand-up thing, and it just won't stand up. That's all. It just says, nope, I'm leaning over. Okay, well, whatever. You know what I could do is I could lift this thing up. We're having a technical difficulty right now. Technical difficulty? Sheesh, what a knucklehead. Here, jack it up there, you knucklehead. Oh my gosh. So I got this little three-legged standard thing, and what it is a kind of a cobbled together version of two phone holders that I forced together because, frankly, I'm so darn strong. And it sort of holds it, but there. Okay, well, I just quit fooling with it. Just quit fooling with it. Having technical difficulties? No more. So I had a pretty good day down there. We dug and dug, and we made it pretty much happen, but we haven't laid an inch of pipe in the ground. But we did get the water line offset out of the slab, because when you've got a copper feed underneath a slab, that's a no-no, except it's okay unless it extends beyond the form. So they're extending the front of the house out toward the curb, and that puts us back into PVC land, so you can't have PVC back under the slab. Sorry, got to get it out. So either we're going to roll around the slab or whatever. So I came up with this idea. We got the parts. We got it all put together on the water side, and it worked out okay. Then we'll get into the sewer tomorrow and roll that stuff around and make it all go together. But anyway, the short version is that, you know, when we're thinking about our lives, we're thinking about, you know, I want to make sense of things. I want a life that makes sense. I want a life where, you know, we make a contribution. You know, hopefully it was a net positive. You know, I mean, you being here all these years. And the positive is this: does it occur to you? Does it drop into your brain? Do you come to the contusion? Come to the contusion. I like that. Do you come to the conclusion that Jesus Christ? I mean, think about what this guy did. I mean, he stepped into his own creation as one of his own creatures. How does that work? I don't know, but it worked pretty good. And actually excellent. And so the thing is that if reality is about this guy, if reality is about the gospel, I mean the good news is he came to find you, he came to release you, he came to clean you up, came to drag you on in by the scruff of your neck, if that's what it's going to take. He loves you more than you can understand. He understands me, he understands you. And he knows all of our hiccups and brainwaves and all that stuff. But that doesn't stop him for a minute. Oh no, he keeps on pressing in. He keeps kind of finding the real you right at the center of things. So I heard today that the poodle is busy trying to make war with Iran because there were some rockets that came in on some U.S. troops, killed 3 soldiers. I think 2 of them were women. I can't remember. But anyway, those young folks are gone now. And God bless them, and God bless their families. But I mean, what are those troops doing there anyway? Why are they in Iraq? Why are they in Syria anyhow? Who knows? I mean, they're bait. They're bait. They're just bait to be drawn in. They're what you call modern cannon fodder. Cannon fodder was an old word, and you hardly hear it anymore. But basically, what it had to do with in the old days of war, we have infantry against infantry on a front where there's a former boundary that's been being disputed with force of arms. Well, in that case, you had a lot of young men. It was always young men who went in there bravely to die, and they did, and they were called cannon fodder. And what that meant was, in order to win the battle, it's like you gotta break the egg to get an omelet. You gotta lose people in order to win the war. And so there's a patriotic element there, and nobody really wants to dispute that. At least nobody I know. But these brave young soldiers, these young, whatever they were, army, I'm guessing, they're dead now. And you know what the Biden administration says is that we're going to go hit Iran hard. We're going to strike Iran down. We're going to break them. Well, they've been hustling and rustling for a war with Iran for decades now. And Iran, I mean, I hate the idea of this so-called Mohammedism taking over a whole nation of people, but it did. And these ayatollahs and these heavy-duty teachers of that so-called good news, they ain't gonna give up. They ain't gonna surrender. They demand only one thing of you: that you surrender, that you bow down, that you submit to their so-called God Allah. But I tell you this right now, Allah, if he is anything at all, if he's more than just a hallucination, he's just a plain old devil. The true living God, I am who is, the great God who is spoken in the Bible, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the real God, he ain't asleep at the switch, and he ain't, wondering how the heck did this happen. But from our side, it seems that way sometimes. Like things seem so out of control. Things seem like, does anybody know what's going on? Please, is there an adult in the room to guide this session through? And so we get all angry and we get mad. We start hurling names and stuff at each other. But the reality is this: at the end of the day, and when you got your bottom dollar thing going on, everybody wants to believe, everybody wants to participate, they believe, in something that's life enhancing, something that's real, something that honors, reality and earth and our lives. And so really that's coming from the Father, if it's coming from anywhere at all. And yet there's all these parallel delusions, New Age stuff, and all kinds of spiritual stuff. Whenever they start talking to you about vibrations, just back off, go away. Vibrations, my butt. Jesus Christ walks into your life and he takes over, and rightfully so. God bless him. But when that happens, what happens is that our old ambitions, our old desires, our old hopes, our old fears, all those got to go one by one, day by day, as they appear. And that's a long process, but it's a good process. And he's going to make you a new creature. He's going to make me a new creature who is fashioned after the likeness of the Holy Son, Jesus Christ the righteous. So he's what it's about. He's the narrator. He's what the narrative is all about. And yet we keep trying to wrestle that away from him and turn it into us versus them, and how right I am and how wrong you are. That's what we do. And part of it's right. I mean, there are lunatics in this world. There are evil people. There are wretched, vile sinners who take advantage and ruin if they can. And thank God he holds them in check as much as he does. There comes a day, I think, when we are the ones who have to become the wall. You and I, we are the ones who have to say, the buck stops here. Harry Truman had that on his desk as a little sign, and I do admire it. It's very clever, too. The buck stops here. Quit passing the buck. Quit trying to shuffle off responsibility. Quit trying to say it's somebody else's problem, it's somebody else's fault. You step up. You be the responsible one. You be the one who says, if peace occurs, it's because of him, and I'm his agent. Truth reigns. The kingdom has come, and it's coming even stronger all the time. I tell you what, even in these dark days right now, Jesus is spreading his kingdom light. He's spreading it through people just like you, and through the things you say and the things you do. God bless you. Keep praying, keep working, keep loving. Jesus Christ wins in the end. Let's deal with it. We already know that. And yet we act as if we didn't. So be rock solid on the inside, because you know what? At the end of the day, when things are all washed up and the war with Iran turns out to be just another bust or whatever happens, I hope nothing happens bad. I don't want to hear about young people dying for no damn reason again. I was in the Air Force for 4 a long, long time ago, and I wouldn't have minded, having to die if I had to, but to die for this kind of stuff, for this kind of polluted, disgusting political bullshit called forth by the Democrats and the other Whiffians, their superiors, and the WHO. And I just want to go over this again. I'm tired of this, and if you're tired of it too, I'm sorry. But we've got to pay attention. This WHO treaty, when it goes through, American sovereignty, all national sovereignties around the world come to a screeching halt. They've been outranked, they've been outclassed, and they've been outgunned. And after that, everything changes because you have one central authority in Earth issuing to all of the nations, the signees in the UN Charter, subservience and obedience, regardless of how egregious and stupid and vile their so-called rulings might be. Tell you what, sets you up for a bad idea? I'd say that's what that is. And we as Christians must oppose this. We must oppose it in the name of freedom, in the name of the Holy Christ of God, who declares to us that there is one supreme ruler, there is one authority source in the known universe, which says, I have life and death powers over you, and you must obey me. That's Jesus Christ, and he's good. He's the source of grace. He's the source of mercy. He's the source of life himself, and the author of being himself. He's the Holy One. And so if you want to be free, you got to remember you ain't going to be free ever until you become holy. And nobody knows what holy even means. They keep thinking it's nothing but an exclusive moral and ethical thing. Yes, it is moral. Yes, it is ethical. But more than that, it transcends. It transcends reality itself. He who is, I am who am, the great God, the Almighty. He has spoken into existence, and by his power he maintains all that is, was, and ever shall be. He guides it to its ends. He has decreed from before the foundation of things. And that's why I'm a Calvinist, because that's what the Bible teaches. So the answer is this. Either we're going to fear God or we're going to fear man. Either we're going to fear God or we're going to fear some government authority. Either we're going to fear God or we're going to fear death. Something has to crack within us. Something has to change, and he's the one who makes that happen. He's the one who brings life from the dead, and he's the best. So, knuckle down, hunker down, what? Do the best you can. You know what? You ain't Superman, you ain't Superwoman, but you can do what you can do. So do what you do with courage and boldness and gladness, remembering that the King who loved you from before you were born, he's guiding us all to a new world, a place where things make sense, a place where right is right, wrong is wrong, and evil don't exist no more. I want to go there, don't you? Come on in. You know how much it costs you? Your pride. It costs you your pride. Can you lay it down? I hope you do. Have a good day. God bless you, and thanks for watching, wherever you are and whoever you are, tubers and tuberettes.